Hi, and welcome to Your VIDHS. I'm Ryan Nugent, Director of Communications for the Virgin Islands Department of Human Services. This podcast is dedicated to providing the public with clear, accurate, and timely information about the programs and services offered by the Department of Human Services and how those services impact you, your family, and our community here in the Virgin Islands. Today we're focusing on one of the most important and discussed areas of our work, Child Protective Services. Joining me is Assistant Commissioner Carla Benjamin, who oversees the division responsible for protective services. Good morning.
Good morning.
Carla brings extensive experience and leadership to this critical area, and today she's going to help us better understand how the system works, what the department's role is, and how we protect the most vulnerable members of our community. Assistant Commissioner Benjamin, thank you so much for joining us. My first question, we'll take it a little slow. Is the child welfare system the same as Child Protective Services? And what exactly is the role of DHS within that broader system?
Thank you so much for having me, Ryan. The child welfare system is the umbrella term for all services related to children, their well-being. Child Protective Services is a subset of child welfare, of the child welfare system. Child Protective Services refers to those services related to investigating and exploring situations where children may be in harm's way and may be in need of services.
When we frequently hear about the department's authority behind all this, so DHS, we can intervene in situations involving children, or are there specific legal parameters that guide when Child Protective Services can step in? And then how far can we go? Okay,
so the Department of Human Services, by statute, is responsible for providing child protective services. And the division within the Department of Human Services that has that primary role is our Office of Intake and Emergency Services.
Yes.
When anyone in the community makes a referral to the Department of Human Services because they have reasonable cause to suspect that a child might be being maltreated, we look at four components. Whether the act has taken place within our jurisdiction in the Virgin Islands, whether the subject of the act is under the age of 18, because in our jurisdiction, as soon as you attain age 18, you're considered an adult, whether or not the act that was committed meets the definition of abuse or neglect by statute. And one key point is whether the person who perpetrated the act was in a caretaker role. Was it someone who had authority of the child?
Right, okay.
So me committing an act against a child who is in my care, if I'm a teacher, is different from some person on the street who has no responsibility for protecting the child committing that act. In the first scenario, it would be considered a Child Protective Services matter, and DHS would get involved. In the second scenario, it would be considered something like assault, and it would be a police matter.
I'm glad you made that distinction. That's a really important to know. Let me ask you something. You just briefly went over the process, but can you go over it again for us? Like, walk us through when a report is made, what happens next, and then what are the steps and how are decisions made through that in the overall prospect of DHS and it runs through us?
Okay, so when a report is made, we look at those four things that I just mentioned. If all of those parameters are met, then we look at whether or not there is anything of evidentiary value. If a child has been hurt, if there's bruises, and we prioritize based on that. If it's an emergent situation, a child is in imminent danger, oftentimes we get calls from the police department, we get calls from the hospitals, the emergency rooms. We respond to those immediately. There's some cases that are reported to us where it is safer for the child and better for the case if we strategize. Like jumping right in there would not necessarily protect the child because all of our actions are driven by the statutes.
Correct.
The only scenario where we're able to intervene without the parent's permission is if we can prove in a court of law that the child was in imminent danger of death or serious injury.
Yes.
Because if we intervene involuntarily in situations where we may remove a child because we say a child is unsafe, we have to within 48 hours submit a petition before the family division of the Superior Court, and we have to go before the judge.
It's critical that we reiterate that. We'll see on Facebook, maybe an incident happen, and then people say, "Where's Human Services? Please give us an explanation as to why Human Services is not, we don't take away people's children. This is a court process."
That is true, but oftentimes when you see in the newspaper that the police was involved, the vast majority of the times we're the ones who call the police.
Right, yeah, it's us calling the police.
So some of the times you hear child was injured and the Department of Education reported it. Usually that report is made to us. We intervene, we call the police department, and then we act cohesively.
Yes.
So a lot of times when there are investigations, there are two investigations happening simultaneously. There's a civil or family investigation that the Department of Human Services does, and then there's a criminal investigation that the police department does.
Correct.
So when you hear someone was arrested or charged, that's the police department. Our most severe remedy would be taking people before the family court.
I like how you answer, because you go straight into my next train of thought automatically, and that is mandated reporting and reporting in general. Let's talk about it. Who is required to report suspected abuse or neglect, and what should members of the public know if they believe a child is at risk? So let's begin with reporting. Who are mandated reporters?
All right, so within our jurisdiction, under Title V of the VI Code, Section 2533 is a mandated reporter statute, a mandated reporting statute. Anyone who in the administration of their duties, whether it's a police officer,
guidance
physician,
counselor,
nurse, guidance counselor, daycare center worker, teacher, coach, anyone who in their job duties or volunteer duties has authority over children, has a responsibility to make a report if they have reasonable cause to suspect that they've been maltreated.
Yes. No, when I'm a guidance counselor and I'm making a report. I made a report to DHS. I saw something a little suspicious between a child, came in looking a little abused, malnourished or something, and I am a mandated reporter as a guidance counselor, so I make this report. What are the next steps that take place after that? DHS calls me, or how does it work?
Usually, school administrations have their own processes about who calls who and who makes the report. When we receive a report, our first priority is to assess safety.
Okay.
So we're responding and we're trying to determine and trying to ensure that the child is safe. After we make a determination about safety, we make a determination about risk. What is the likelihood that whatever happened is likely to recur, be worse, or to be abated? We usually try to interview the child by themselves. We do have the authority to interview children without their parents present. And then we speak with the parents. We speak with other collateral individuals who might have knowledge of the situation, in addition to and in conjunction with the social worker or the worker's practice wisdom.
Yes.
You know, in addition to their clinical determinations, there are some evidence-based tools that we fill out. There are risk assessments. There are safety assessments that are kind of like checklists that we go through, and they also yield a score that tells us whether the risk is high, whether the safety is high, whether it's medium, whether it's low.
You're watching Your VIDHS. We'll be right back.
We were born with greatness, so we can do great things. Be a chef or a professor, even become a songwriter. We are the children. We are the children of the future. We are the children, and we are everybody's business. We were born to conquer and to always prosper. Be an engineer or artist.
VI Department of Human Services, Office of Child Care and Regulatory Services wants you to join us to help make Virgin Islands children ready for the future.
How you doing with your little one? Last time we were talking, you were having a hard time getting someone to watch her when you have to work.
Well, I'm good now because I don't have to worry about childcare on weekends. I'm so happy that the Office of Childcare and Regulatory Services at the Department of Human Services is now helping with non-traditional childcare awards.
I can't get that kind of help for my child because first, I don't qualify because of my salary. Second, I just have to work at night.
You sure? I was in the office and I heard them saying essential workers can get childcare assistance regardless of salary.
Are you sure you hear that right?
Yes, essential workers, police, hospital workers, corrections officers can now qualify for help with childcare.
What are you telling me? How could I get more information?
For more information on St. Croix, call 340-772-7147. And on St. Thomas and St. John, call 340-774-0930. This message was brought to you by the Department of Human Services, Office of Child Care and Regulatory Services.
So case per case, it seems that there's a lot of not indirect, but direct involvement in settling the matter before, taking a recurring step of removing the child from home or stuff. You know what? Let's talk about that. Removal, because that's often a word that brings concern to members of the community. Under what circumstances in the Virgin Islands can a child be removed from the home?
Okay, and so let me just back up a little bit.
Go right ahead.
In our culture, there's this prevailing belief that as long as the matter involves a child, the Department of Human Services has legal authority to intervene, and we do not.
They swear so up and down.
We do not.
Yes. No, we do not.
As I mentioned before, our burden as far as the Department of Human Services goes is the child has to be in imminent danger of death or serious physical injury. That is the burden, the legal burden that has to be there in order for us to involuntarily remove children.
Yes.
There are some situations where there may not be imminent danger, and what we do is speak with the parent and explain to them that the best case scenario here probably is for that child and you to be separated.
Right.
To protect the child as well as to protect you.
Yeah.
Allow us to provide services, and in those situations, we ask parents to identify someone, family members. In some situations, the child may be living with one parent, goes to live with the other parent, but we try to keep children with individuals with whom they are familiar.
Yeah, and that's great. So we don't just stick them in a group home or put them into foster care immediately. There is circumstances, however, where we do have children enter to foster care. I want to jump to that now. When children do enter foster care, what does the system look like here in the territory? What does our foster care system here look like?
Our foster care system has family-based foster homes that look like regular families, where we have individuals in the community who come forward, who receive training. Right now we use a curriculum called NTDC. And they receive training, become certified, and so they're able to have children come into their home.
And these are for the foster families, so they get training, they get assessed at all, or?
This is for foster families, families who the children don't know. This is also for kinship families.
Okay.
So if a family member steps forward
Yes.
to take a child and we're subsidizing that child's stay, they have to go through the same process as foster parents do. And that process involves criminal background checks for the foster parents as well as anyone who lives in the household, medical assessments, the whole package.
Yeah. For a community-based in St. Croix, St. John, St. Thomas, Water Island, do we have a good amount of foster families in availability, or is it something that we are actively recruiting for people to step into this level of stewardship?
We are actively recruiting. We have a very limited resource pool of parents. We could always use more parents because children do better in home settings, family
Yeah.
settings than they do in institutions.
My grandmother was she had a foster care home, and she found it fulfilling a little bit. And it is, right? Can you explain to us how?
How it would be fulfilling to serve as a foster parent?
Yes.
Usually when children are required to be placed in foster
Yeah.
homes is because they're in need of a protective
Yes.
situation. So from the start, if you're able to make sure that a child is no longer in a situation where they're being harmed.
Yes.
That's
That's
a
already a
win.
positive start.
Exactly.
That's already a win. And then to see that child thrive and be grateful to you probably years later on for the help that you gave them. It's something that, you know, we should definitely step up if we have the access and resources to do it. Please become a foster family of today.
Yeah.
Let's jump back. I want to get into Child Protective Services collaborations. We talk about law enforcement, the courts, the schools. How do we ensure a coordinated response?
Well, the law says reports should be made to VIPD or the Department of Human Services.
Yes.
However, we work closely with a lot of nonprofits like Family Resource Center on St. Thomas, the Women's Coalition on St. Croix.
Boop, boop.
These are entities, excuse me, that they receive reports. They know that they then need to make the reports to us.
Yes.
So we kind of encourage the community to report it. If you're comfortable reporting it to one of those entities, go ahead and report it. We have excellent working relationships. In a lot of cases, the nonprofits are the ones who are providing counseling services.
Yes.
Family therapy.
Yes.
And so they become involved on the front end, and then they also are part of the process as we go through.
Yeah. When it comes to our department, what are we looking for as far as individuals to help us navigate this scenario? Like, we need social workers. We need more, people trained in the law. What could we use here at DHS to help bolster our involvement in this?
We definitely could use social workers. The rub there is in order to be a social worker, in order to have the title social worker in our jurisdiction, you have to have a license which requires passing national boards and such.
So, yeah, of course. And this is the norm for professional life. You need these
True.
Not accolades. These aren't accolades. These are certifications professionally to help you delve into the work that we're doing, which is important work. I don't want to end so quickly, but this important work, it definitely ain't easy work either. And so give me your perspective, because CPS, it often operates, I don't want to use the word emotional, but they operate in emotionally and charged situations. So from your perspective, what makes this work challenging? Because I know it is. I want you to just share it with the people. And then how does your team balance between child safety, family integrity, and legal standards?
I think the most challenging part about Child Protective Services is that there is no 100% guarantee. Even if you go in, you make the best decisions, you fill out all of the tools to support your clinical decision making, and you complete your safety plan and you put all the things in place to ensure that a child is safe. There's no guarantee that you won't walk away from the situation and something bad happens.
Yes.
And workers who do this see situations day after day that most people hope to never see in life.
Yeah.
And they keep coming back. Additionally,
I salute those folks.
unfortunately, in some situations, all the families who come to us because there's some level of dysfunction.
Yeah.
I think, unfortunately, even if the situation has been ongoing for years, at the point where it's reported to the Department of Human Services, all of a sudden it becomes the Department of Human Services responsibility.
One time.
So
yeah.
even if it was reported a day ago, 2 days ago, and something happens.
Yeah.
DHS.
And you know what I like about our CPS division and you guys is that we own it. Most of the situations, we hear the stuff going on, we see the news. It might be an item where so and so saw this child in a situation, and by the time as communications director, I inquire it. We're already on it, or we've been involved in it way before they even known about it. So, I'm really grateful that we have a team that's able to balance the challenges, but also navigate the system and protect our children here in the territory. Is there any last final words you want to tell the audience or the people of the Virgin Islands about the important work we do here at CPS?
When it comes to Child Protective Services, it is definitely hard work. It is definitely work that you can't do it halfway, right? The workers who are responding to these cases, who are responding to homes, who are responding at 2, 3 in the morning, putting themselves in potentially dangerous situations.
Absolutely.
Because all they're responding with probably is a pen and a pad.
They're being asked to go into the projects, into this apartment, to check this situation. Now, definitely not no safe situation, but we've got a job to do, right? So
yes, somebody's got to do it, and luckily we have dedicated individuals who this is their life's work.
Yeah, and we're grateful for them. Well, I want to thank you so much for this interview. We cleared a lot of things up, and we've shown perspective on the importance of the agency's work and what we do with kids here in the territory. Today, our goal was basically about clarity. We wanted the public to understand how the system works and what the department's role in all of this truly is. This is how responsibility is carried out. At CPS, here at DHS, we do it with professionalism, care, and accountability. Am I right, AC Benjamin?
Correct.
Thank you so much. And thank you for watching another episode of Your VIDHS. Check us out on YouTube and Instagram and on Facebook at VIDHS. Take care.